The Seahawks look to stay atop the NFC West, going up against Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals, who are just looking to stay above water at 3-5. Seahawks, Sam Darnold leading the way, 6-2. And in a season that's been turbulent, to say the least, for Arizona, they placed Kyler Murray on the IR earlier this week due to a foot injury. So they turn the keys to Jacoby Brissett for the moment, who is 1-2 as a starter compared to Kyler Murray's record of 2-3 when starting. But more than that, the offense looks better. And if you don't believe me, well, these numbers back it up. Points per game, total yards per game, and third down conversions all increased when Jacoby Brissett is leading this Cardinals offense. With that, we bring in CBS Sports NFL senior writer Will Brinson and CBS Sports NFL writer John Breech. And Will, I'll hit you first. When you look at Jacoby Brissett, other than the fact that he's taller than Kyler Murray, how do you think he's unlocked this offense the last 3 games?
I mean, Chris, the answer is obvious. He went to NC State. I think we all know why he's doing better. No, look, I mean, I think Kyler this season in particular has just been troublesome just in the way that he's tried to operate this Arizona offense. And I think one of the keys too, we've seen it, they've been able to get Marvin Harrison Jr. unlocked, and that's been massive for this offense. And Jacoby just goes through his progressions better. He seems to have really like kind of the team behind him. And let's be perfectly frank about what this IR stint is for Kyler Murray. It's not an IR stint. It's a soft benching. They're just putting him on the bench so that way they don't have to answer the question. They're putting him on IR so they don't have to answer the questions every single week about Kyler Murray not being the starter, which they had to do the last couple of weeks. I think Jacoby Brissett's just playing better, seems to have a better grasp of the offense, a more veteran command of the locker room, and the team's responding to him.
Imagine 5 years ago talking about Jacoby Brissett being an upgrade over Kyler Murray and an NFL offense, and here we are, and it is the absolute truth, and the numbers bear that out that we just saw. The Cardinals have been better in almost every aspect with Jacoby Brissett running the show, and the reason that is Brinson hit a lot of that on the head. If you want to succeed as a quarterback in the NFL, the easiest way to do it is to get the ball to your best players, and Jacoby Brissett has done that spectacularly. Let's start with Trey McBride. He's averaged 11 targets per game with Jacoby Brissett. With Kyler Murray, that was 8.4 targets per game. So you're making sure your star tight end is getting more targets. That's big. And then Brinson mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr. We saw him have a career-high 7 catches against the Cowboys on Monday. So Jacoby Brissett knows where to put the football, and that's why this offense is humming right now.
It's humming, but we know the Seahawks, they're not like the Cowboys defense, okay? They boast one of the toughest defenses in the league, tied for 3rd for most sacks in the league, are only giving up about 19 points per game. So, John, I'll start with you. Do you believe this Mike Macdonald's defense can stifle the Cardinals once again?
I do not. I don't think it's going to happen at all. You look at what happened in that first meeting. It was a 3-point game with Kyler Murray. So now we're putting in Jacoby Brissett, who has been more efficient in the offense. And so I'm not so sure the Seahawks are going to do as well against the Cardinals. I think if you look at a couple of things that happened with Kyler Murray in that first game, number one, he got sacked 6 times. I do not think Jacoby Brissett is going to get sacked 6 times. He is getting rid of the ball quickly. He throws it to Marvin Harrison Jr. right away. He throws it to Trey McBride right away. It is getting out of his hands. Maybe he gets sacked 2 or 3 times because this Seahawks defense is good. It's not going to be 6. The other thing that happened in that first game, Kyler Murray threw 2 interceptions. You know who doesn't throw interceptions? Jacoby Brissett. His career interception percentage is 1.3% of his pass attempts. That is the best number in NFL history by any quarterback ever. So as long as Jacoby Brissett can avoid sacks and take care of the football, I think this Cardinals offense is going to look a lot better this time around than it did in the first meeting.
Yeah, and one of the things too, Breech, that you're going to get from Jacoby Brissett is a better understanding of where the pressure is coming from on defense than you would get from Kyler Murray. And Mike Macdonald's defense brings pressure from everywhere. He disguises everything. And like the job he did in Baltimore is why he got the job in Seattle. He brings pressure in different ways, from different angles, at different times. And I think Jacoby Brissett will do a much better job of diagnosing that. Jacoby Brissett, by the way, also like sneakily unathletic. I mean, he's obviously a professional football player, so he's who's really athletic, but he's not going to bail out of he's not going to think that there's pressure coming in, that he's got a bad pocket, bail out early and try to make something happen with his feet. That's not his style. That's what Kyler Murray likes to do. And I think Brissett will sit in there. He's going to diagnose these defenses. He's going to see opportunities to get the ball to Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride, as Breech referenced. And yeah, he'll keep them more competitive than Kyler Murray would have against the Seahawks, because frankly, that first game where they did, they took it to overtime, they were getting blown out and Seattle just couldn't hold on to the lead. I think Arizona's much more competitive in this game, and that 6.5 points is pretty high.
Yeah, now the Seahawks on the other side, they'll have a new weapon, acquiring Rashid Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints before the trade deadline, with question marks surrounding Cooper Kupp and Torrey Horton for Sunday's game. Shaheed is expected to play a big role in the Seattle offense. I mean, he is a guy that can really help alleviate some of the pressure that we see from JSN as everybody tries to lock him up. And, well, do you think Shaheed will fit into Seattle's offense alongside JSN, considering he's reuniting with former Saints OC Clint Kubiak? Do you think it's going to be a seamless fit?
Oh, yeah. I had this in my column today on CBSSports.com, but one of my favorite bets for the week, actually, the two of my favorite bets for this week are Rashid Shaheed anytime touchdown. It's over 2-1. And then, more importantly, Rashid Shaheed over longest reception, 19.5 yards. This is a guy who, with Clint Kubiak last year as his offensive coordinator, averaged 17.5 yards per catch. He is a downfield speed threat. And when you couple that with what Seattle likes to do on offense, which is run the football and then have Sam Darnold, who right now is the best play action passer in football, take these deep shots down the field off those play action looks, Shaheed is a perfect fit. And if you're Seattle, what you want to do with him knowing the playbook already because of his time with Kubiak is you want to have him come in and put some stuff on tape for other defensive coordinators to see what you want to do in the future with Shaheed. So I think they're going to do, at minimum, 2 to 3 deep play action shots to Shaheed down the field. And I think he ends up having a pretty big game and probably finds the end zone against a Cardinals secondary that's played well but can be gotten.
Yeah, absolutely agree with Brinson here. This is, as you guys mentioned, it's very helpful that he can walk in and he's going to be learning a playbook that for the most part he already knows because he was with Clint Kubiak last season in New Orleans. And it's not just that he's a speedy receiver who's going to open up the field for Seattle, but if you're a defense now, you kind of have to choose. Are you going to go to JSN? Are you going to go to slow down Jaxon Smith-Njigba, who is the leading receiver in the NFL? So you can't just leave him running open. You have to pay a lot of attention to him, maybe double team him. And if you leave Shaheed one-on-one, Sam Darnold is going to take those shots. And Darnold, let's not forget, he averages 9.6 yards per pass attempt this year. That is the highest number in the NFL. There was only one other quarterback who's even over 9 yards, and that's Lamar Jackson at 9.1. So he's a half yard better than anyone else. The Seahawks love pushing the ball downfield when they do throw, and that's what Shaheed's good at, is making those big plays. So I agree with Brinson. I could see him having a huge game on Sunday.
And you brought up JSN. He might enter top 5 wideout levels sooner than later if he keeps cooking defenses the way he is, on pace for the first 2,000 receiving yard season all time. Just a technician with the route running. He's such a game changer. John, how did the Cardinals shut him down, knowing, as Will mentioned, their pass defense, it's fine, but it's not their strong suit?
Well, I don't think you do. No one's been able to. We saw what he did in week 4 against the Cardinals, and that was actually his worst game of the season. 4 catches for 79 yards. Think about that for a second. His worst game of the season, he still caught the ball 4 times, and he still had almost 80 yards. So there really is no way to kind of just totally stop him. You're not going to have a 0-catch, 0-yard game with Jaxon Smith-Njigba, especially when you throw Rashid Shaheed in there. So now the Seahawks offense has opened up a whole new element. The Cardinals don't know exactly what it's going to look like with Shaheed in there. So the Seahawks kind of have this element of surprise. So I'm not sure they're going to be able to slow JSN down. I think what you want to do, though, if you're Arizona, is just keep everything in front of you. You can't get burnt by the big plays. You have to make the Seahawks earn everything. And the other thing you do is get pressure on Sam Darnold. They did that very well in the first game. I think they sacked him 3 times because if Darnold doesn't have time to throw the football, that shuts down the offense pretty quickly. So I think that is their best bet, is getting pressure on Darnold.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you got to get pressure on Darnold. You got to stop the run, because if the Seahawks get downhill on you with that run game, it is going to open up the play action. As I mentioned, I mean, Darnold is the best play action passer in football. So, like, you start giving JSN time to work off those play action looks, knowing that Shaheed is also capable of taking the top off. I mean, good freaking luck. And the thing with JSN, you go back to his days at Ohio State, and he's in this wide receiver room with guys like, Chris Olave and future first round picks. And every person on that team, every coach, to a man, everyone said, Jaxon Smith-Njigba is the best receiver in this room. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? As it turns out, they were right. I think he is in top 5 category in terms of receivers, just the way he's played this year, the steps he's taken, this offseason, and how much he's developed as a player. He's electric down the field. He can beat you as a technician in short yardage. So it's really more like, you just hope he doesn't burn you for $150 and 2 touchdowns. You just have to settle for 4 catches and 80 yards. Good luck stopping him. You better get some pressure up front. Otherwise, it's going to be a long day for the secondary.
Yeah, the Cardinals have the 23rd best passing defense, giving up 231.8 yards per game. Now, Seattle is favored by nearly a touchdown versus this team, and the total is 44.5. Cardinals, they're not going to pull this one out, right? Well,
this feels, Chris, like a week of ill-fated layups for NFL bettors out there, right? Denver 8.5 on Thursday night. How can you not take the Broncos? They're going to throttle the Raiders coming off an overtime loss. Oops. Cardinals, same thing and the Seahawks in the Cardinals game, right? I mean, 6.5. It is daring everyone to try and take Arizona, not getting that full touchdown. I do think the Cardinals, with this offense, with Jacoby Brissett playing better, with the explosive NC State graduate Zonovan Knight, Van Knight in the backfield as well. Shout out the Wolfpack. I think the Cardinals are good enough on offense and can get enough pressure on Sam Darnold to keep it within this number, but it's going to be a sweaty one.
I agree, Brinson. Look, the Cardinals are 3-5, and all 5 losses are by 4 points or less. This team is literally 5 to 7 plays away from being 8-0, which sounds absolutely crazy, but they've been highly competitive in every game. They blew that huge lead against the Titans. They've blown lead after lead, so maybe if they take a lead and don't blow it, they can pull off an upset here. They only lost by 3 points in that first meeting against the Seahawks back in week 4. I think this Cardinals team is better with Jacoby Brissett. They had Kyler Murray last time. I do think the Seahawks win, but like Brinson, I think the Cardinals cover. I think this is another 3 or 4 point game.
No, they definitely are going to cover, in my opinion, as well, and they are going to make the Seahawks sweat for this win if they do indeed get the victory. Will Brinson, John Breech, always appreciate the insight, gentlemen. And again, we've got so much great action for this week in the NFL. Patriots, Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, Drake May leading their teams in their divisions. Browns, Jets, Jaguars, Texans, Bills, Dolphins, and then Cardinals at the Seahawks, 4:05 Eastern, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.